Hey everyone, welcome to another Age of Mythology video. This is the Rampage campaign level on Titan difficulty, and the premise of this one is that a Norse Titan is coming at you and you have to hold off for a certain amount of time until a Nidhogg comes to help you beat the Titan. And so my strategy for this one is to use some strategic walls throughout the map to make the enemy guys do a little bit of a zigzag through the map, so you have more time to prepare, and it takes them longer to get to you. So first thing I do is I wall up that starting pass, sort of the area where your guys start off, and I put a few layers because they actually have a they have an undermine power that they can use. At least I've had it happen to me in a few games. So I make a few layers spaced out so that way they can't undermine all of them. And so there are a few relics out there. So I built a temple first before building a town center, just to and I sent Caster out there to get one relic, and there's one behind the town center as well. I don't remember what they do exactly, but they're both decently useful. And I sent another Ulfsark out. You only start with 3 Ulfsarks, so you're kind of like, maybe it would, looking back, maybe it would have been beneficial to build a longhouse or make a Herseer or something to out of my temple to help build faster. But so I'm running with 3 guys right now, and so I have one out there building the far out walls, and one guy building the walls in the starting pass, and then this last one building this settlement. So, and I don't think the game really triggers until you finish the settlement. Yeah, so I'm trying to read the text as it's coming up at double speed, but Volstagg says he can summon the Nidhogg, and you have to hold out. So if you want to, you can probably build up for a little while before finishing that settlement, and then you can maybe put down a few more buildings, whatever. But don't use up all your resources because you can't gather anymore until you get that settlement up. But so first thing I do is I crank out a few dwarves. You start out with 2. And I add a few more just to get gold in steady state, sort of. And then I dump the rest of my food into villagers, and then I put them all. I think I put most of them or all of them on wood, and then I just create throwing axemen because that's going to be your best bet with the attacks coming in. It's mostly they attack with Huskarls and a few cavalry. It's a kind of a mixed bag of mixed bag attack. A couple Einarhar, but. So usually you can hold them off with. I usually just go mass throwing axemen, and that works well enough. Let the heroes do most of the grunt work, and then the throwing axemen can snipe them. And every once in a while you'll get some frost giants. They get summoned at the green town centers, so you can just go out and. I think they automatically walk back to the town center, but I just go out and task them to walk towards the town center, just because it's a little bit faster. So I have a few villagers on food. And the rest, I think I have 4 or so on wood. And you can see I'm trying to be cute and build a couple of zigzag walls in there just to slow them down a little bit more. And once my Ulfsark came under attack, I ran away from my home to hopefully distract them for a few extra seconds. But and then I get housed, and I have like a couple throwing axemen, but plenty of frost giants, a couple fanatics. And so this first attack, if you can hold off like the first couple attacks, you can and keep building your economy, you should be in good shape. But I have a couple of these side walls going up just to protect my my gatherers. And as usual, I get the heroes up front to do most of the grunt work, and then Volstagg is actually really good as well. He has a lot of hit points and a large attack, and he behaves as a hero. So if he goes down, you can just revive him. They say you can't lose him because he can actually freeze the Titan with his special attack. So it's actually a good idea to get out there and freeze the Titan here and there just to slow him down. But so this first attack went pretty well. So I'm just bringing my throwing axemen back to heal up at the spring. And this guy, this Huskarl over here, glitched, and we couldn't attack him, which was kind of funny. But so that's why he hung around for an extra minute. But usually I put up 2 more longhouses. That's usually what my go-to is, just 3 of them. It's good enough. And I sent a guy out to finish up those walls, but he didn't get there in time. So, and all the while, just creating more villagers if I can. It's kind of nice to make throwing axemen. Oh, and you can see the that backup wall, or that wall in the starting area, just deters them. They go over there, and then they just immediately turn around to to go around the long way. But I was saying, if you just with a few villagers on food, you can maintain villager production, because obviously throwing axemen cost wood and gold, so I can just have about 5 villagers on food, and then just have the gather point for the rest of them on wood to continue the production. And I might have made one dwarf too many, because now I'm at 1,000 gold and pretty low on everything else. But the gold doesn't go bad, so whatever. Another attack coming in. There's that throwing axeman ended up on that cliff somehow, but so this attack's a little more substantial. It looks like they tradered one of my frost giants there, so you can see all the throwing axemen they have in the back there. So it's just try to counter throwing axemen with throwing axemen. Putting up an armory there, because I don't actually no. You have a few improvements, armory improvements, and I think you just need to get the. Let's see, we're Thor, so we can get all of them whenever we want. But so now I'm at a pretty good number of throwing axemen. Again, I got housed. There, I just built all of them, so that's convenient. But now I'm really clicking on all cylinders here. I'm almost at population max. A few more throwing axemen coming in. I've probably about 15 villagers on wood. And there, they're chasing down my one of my frost giants. So it looks like I don't know what determines the units they make, but they're sending in some cavalry, and trolls are a pretty good counter to throwing axemen, so it's a good move. But I have plenty of heroes, so it's kind of moot. I don't know what determines what units they make, if they try to counter what you're making, or if it's a determined spawn. But so there, it looks like I'm sending full stag out to freeze the Titan, and actually move the base up, my forward base up here a little bit. And that's because if the Titan destroys all the green town centers, you'll lose. And so I try to keep this area, quarantined off a little bit in between attacks. Right after they attack is a good time to move up, provided you have the resources to do that. But it's got a few towers up. Checking the armory improvements, and cranking out some farms. I find I'm very agricultural in my Age of Empires games, maybe even too much so. And all those throwing axemen are trying to build that tower, so naturally it didn't get built. So this attack kind of gets splits up a little bit. It gets split up a little bit. That's because I had full stag out there, and I sent him back through some gates I made in that back wall. And they followed him to the wall, and then they just spun around and had to walk all the way around. So now we're in pretty good shape, throwing axemen attacking from behind the wall against their mostly infantry, mostly huskarls. Always checking the improvements. A few more dwarves queued up. And if you really wanted to, you could probably put up a market back where I built my houses, or even actually I think I built one right behind my hill fort, and then you can get some trade going. So there I sent full stag out to freeze the Titan again. Just slows him down a little bit, because you don't want him up on your forward base there, because he'll probably demolish that pretty quickly. But then again, you could always make hair seers, and you could probably kill the Titan manually if you really wanted to. You don't have to wait for the Nidhogg, but that's just the objective in this. So that's what I'm going with. Cranking out a few more farms, but then again, I'm really just making throwing axemen anyway, so I want to keep my focus on wood and gold, of course. And his special wasn't recharged by the time I got to him, so I had to back off the Titan for a second and then re-engage once it had finished up. But kind of wish I'd built the healing spring up here instead, but early in the game you need it more, so if you lose in the first 5 minutes, then it doesn't matter. What was the point in saving it? And get on that second gold mine there. There are only those 2 gold mines there, so if you really, at least as far as I know, if you really wanted more, there I'd put up a market. I was going to say, if you really were skeptical about gold, you could put up a market earlier and start trading more quickly. And there they traded my throwing axemen, so that was cute, but obviously I have plenty left to counter it. Sending full stag out again, and what you want to do is you want to make sure you get full stag out of there before the Titan unfreezes. Otherwise, the Titan will follow full stag back to your base. And so here, that's kind of what happened there. Full stag was walking back, and I realized the Titan would follow him. So I sent some throwing axemen out to sacrifice. They engaged the Titan to distract him, and then I ran the throwing axemen away. Well, full stag escaped, so that worked. Here I am just getting every single improvement I possibly can. Why? I don't know. That's just kind of what I do. I mean, the economical improvements are good, and when I aged up, okay, for a second there I was like, man, I should really age instead of getting all these improvements, but so again, Titan's coming through, kind of encroaching on our area, so I'm going to try to freeze him up, and my guys are getting a little bold there, so I hang full stag back until the attack leaves, and then I can go up and engage the Titan. And those Frost Giants are a great counter to throwing axemen. Although I tend to prefer throwing axemen against throwing axemen, and I had excess gold, so I made another fire giant. Fire giants are some of my favorite units, but there again, full stag is getting this is under attack, so I'm just drawing him away until he can get his special attack back, and then we can freeze him. Got another frost giant spawn there, so it's nice to have having a stash of them coming through, and I just sold a whole bunch of resources at my market to I forget what I just bought, farm improvement or the maybe the caravan improvement. That's one of the best things to get is the caravan speed. More fire giants coming in. Absolutely love fire giants. So it looks like that's where I dumped most of my gold, but they're great against just about anything. Especially throwing axemen, because of we can attack from range. Trying to keep the giant in check here. Got a couple caravans coming out. Probably not necessary at this point in the game. I mean, Nidhogg's only a few minutes away, but you never know. I've been caught off guard sometimes later in the games just because I got relaxed. So just want to keep the numbers up, and hopefully I have all the armor improvements by now. And I just got that town center improvement there. That's always helpful. Extra population. And also, that's right, I wanted to start making more fire giants, so having the extra gold helps. So the Titan seems to be making his way, with like a minute or so left, seems to be making his way towards you just to put pressure on until the Nidhogg gets there. So you got to be ready to just kind of just get ready for him. So might help to have some Herseers around to counter him, and you see I made a few, but fire giants are good against Titans as well. Another small attack, but again, with all my towers and throwing axemen, really not much of a threat. Use the extra favor from the Herseers to get more fire giants. That's probably what I do. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. Nope, more Herseers. Okay. Probably just skeptical of the Titan. Oh, there, here comes the Nidhogg. So the Nidhogg's good against the Titan, obviously, but they still send in a little bit of a substantial-looking attack. Lots of Jarls there, or Jarls, depending on how you say it. So gotta watch out with your myth units for them. So I kind of focus fire the throwing axemen on the Jarls, and then get my heroes on the Titan, and then the Nidhogg comes in. But after you, well, actually, no, here comes another attack. See. If I was low on numbers, I'd probably be in bad shape, and then all of a sudden my throwing axemen take out the Nidhogg. And there I used Ragnarok just for fun, but they didn't even have time to get out there to the Titans. So anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you liked the strategy with the little zigzag walls there and all. But that's how I played this one. Hopefully you can use that for inspiration for your own game. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.